Hey, Billy and Michelle from Perma Pastures Farm. Remember, at the end of this week, July 30th, 31st, we got that swale class in Camden, Tennessee. Be there, be square. We're running out of tickets. All right, we're going to get right into it today. We're going to talk about the area we're standing in, another area, and then we're going to be getting some harvest, which we have been, and we've been going non-stop getting things out of here, whether it's honey, whether it's you name it, we're getting it all right now. A lot of people have hit me up about how do I just get a garden off and running. Well, we're standing in one of the places where you can do that sort of thing. This is an instant garden made popular by the genius Jeff Lawton. And right out here we got some potatoes. What else are we standing in, honey?
We've got some bee balm. We've got a couple different kinds of bee balm. There's the lemon bee balm. There's this over here. We've got a bunch of different kinds of kales, which they're getting eaten by bugs because we really haven't harvested them. But they're doing good, but we just need to keep up with the harvest, which we haven't done so far.
Now what do we got back here?
We've got some potatoes, which are probably getting close to being harvested. We've got some borage. We've also got some jalapeno plants down here that we need to pick.
Wow, they're doing good. Wow, look at that.
We've got some oregano back here going to seed.
And then back here, if you look, folks, if you look behind me, this is the succession of what we've done in the past when it came to this instant garden. Now, every place we put them, literally, what has happened?
Well, the soil, this soil on this side is very hard clay. There was a bunch of brambles when we first moved here, so we ran the pigs through, and the places that we put the instant garden in, the soil is much more workable. It's lightened it up, and it's also more productive.
Now what happens when you put one of these in is that it's a calling card to all of the worms out there. It's like, bam, here's the dinner bell. And they're taking all that jacked up soil and they're working it over. You just made a home for worms. Now, keep in mind, this straw we have out here, it came out of the bull's the bull shelter. It must have been sitting about a foot high. Now look at it, it's turning into soil. Now, when you do see problems out here, remember, it's not a plant problem. 9 times out of 10, it's a soil problem. We're going to talk a lot about that in the future. Now we're going to go to another area to show you what's up. All right, little side field trip, okay? We've had unbelievable deer pressure, everybody, everywhere. And bone sauce works, especially on your trees. But there's one little adaptation I want you to do to your application. And I didn't recommend it before, but I'm recommending it now. Because if you look all the way around us, we're standing at the bottom part of the food forest. And of course, man, it gives me such joy when I'm out here, but here's the deal. We got the hugel mound here. We got one of these apples right here, okay? And the deer literally walked past all the ones, we talked about it in the previous video, they walked past all those trees out there that have bone sauce on them all the way up to the very edge just to get to this one. Because of all the trees in here, this is one of the ones I planted back in the fall. They walked past all of that just to hit this and this one up here. The only two that I didn't put bone sauce on. Now, here's what I'm recommending. This isn't a bone sauce commercial. I'm just telling you this. What you want to do, even though I recommend that you put it on in the dormant time, the thing is you don't want to get it on the leaves itself. So as painstaking as it might be, you're going to have to literally take it and go in between all the branches on here to keep them off, okay? You can see where they stripped this off right here. And since I put it on just a few days ago, you can see this growth out here. Now, anybody that's ever dealt with deer with any kind of frequency, you know that this would not be here if it weren't. In fact, we'll come back and look at it a little bit later. So just recap, go through, hit this stuff in between. I know it's painstaking, but it's what you got to do to protect your stuff. All right, now back up there. All right, y'all, this is quite literally another spot where we did an instant garden where you see this trellis. Completely played out soil, jacked up in every way. I can tell that just by what's growing around it. You can even see some of that devil's trumpet over there, and that's something you want to stay away from. William talked about it, I think, in great detail on Patreon. So anyway, this, where you see this trellis, we even showed that in the video. On each side of it was flanked with cardboard and straw, and then you went back and direct seeded, right?
Right. So we've got some tromboncinos growing. You can see them. We'll feed those to the to the animals this winter. There's also a couple different varieties of pumpkins, Cherokee tans planted in here.
Yeah, you can see some of those flowers and stuff coming up. Look at that, down in here, this stuff is blowing up. So thanks Danny and Wanda for those Cherokee tan. Plus it's about my favorite pumpkin, period. That thing is so flavorful, it just, I mean, you'll never buy that store-bought stuff again. That's the beauty of growing this stuff, y'all. Plus it keeps a really long time. Don't we have some cushaws in here too, or is it just them two?
No.
Okay, so we got a little bit, I mean, look at this. This is jacked up, played out soil, and look at what's happening. All right, so this is another area where that instant garden is hitting it out of the park. Now let's roll up inside Michelle's Fortress of Solitude, right? All right, so here we are inside the high tunnel, and frankly, for just having put it up, I'm floored. And I want to also give another shout out to Deep South for giving us the design. We didn't do it exactly like theirs, but we took a lot of the fundamental elements that Danny and Wanda did down there. So we got roll-up sides, we got a 30 shade cloth, 30% if I'm not mistaken. We had an engineer, believe it or not, figured that out for us. So anyway, it's working beautifully, and by design, the cool air is coming in from the bottom, going out the top, and everything seems to be working quite well. So a while back, we talked about jacked up soil that we bought some of it because we were in a bind, like so many people are, had too many things going. And so instead of taking the compost that we actually made down there, it just made sense to go pick up some of that bag stuff and dump it in here. So the results, we were a little bit concerned about it, but today we're about to pull up the beds that we didn't get before, right?
Right. I mean, in the beds that we pulled up before, I wasn't expecting anything, but we did get a decent potato harvest, better than I was expecting. So, yeah, today we're going to pull up the ones that weren't ready before and see what we get.
But also look around here, y'all. It looks like you're in a tropical wonderland to it. I mean, if you just allow your peripheral to kind of work it over. I mean, just in this bed right here with these sweet potatoes, this is area we did not put that junk, okay? We were hilling up the potatoes with that stuff. And every place we did not put that bag soil is absolutely blowing up, okay? I mean, tomatoes over here, sweet potatoes over here. We got all this stuff kicking, and then we got a bunch of volunteer tomatoes in there.
Yeah,
right?
we have potatoes planted in this one bed, but a bunch of volunteer tomatoes came up. So, and there's also holy basil that came up also. So we're going to have to try to harvest the potatoes.
Yeah, we'll just see how that goes. Yeah, so right here is one of the beds we're about to get hopping and popping on. Like I said, it had that jacked up soil. And already the areas that we've remediated with some of the compost that we made, and we're about to make a bunch more, are already starting to do well, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with that said, all right, y'all, we're going to go ahead and get this harvest. We just got a bunch of jalapenos. We got at least 6 gallons of honey out of the hives. And
we had quite a few tomatoes. How many gallons of?
Oh my goodness!
Pounds of tomatoes.
Tomatoes. In fact, I'm going to be making sauce. Maybe we'll even do some of that for Patreon. That's what we do with a lot of the tomatoes and stuff. Those paste tomatoes and stuff.
Yep, we did the Amish paste and the San Marzano this year. The Amish paste seems to be doing significantly better. So.
Right, and everything's going to do much better as we improve the soil, y'all. It's not your plant 9 times out of 10. It's what's going on or not going on in your soil. We're going to talk more about that in the future. All right, you ready?
Ready.
Let's do this.
Killing they cells, steady killing they cells. 10 windows drop, gates got us as cells. You listening to bars, but we staring at them. What's your sound opinion to a sparkling atom and fathom? Dad cooking, breakfast bacon, no sugar. Jam preaching, teaching, wiping kids' boogers. Fan protector, respected, house full of rugers. This the feeling that I really wish I had sooner. Baby's mom.
All right, so we've got these volunteer tomatoes that came up in the same bed that we planted our potatoes in. And they're the persimmon variety that I tried out last year, and I don't really care for them. So we're just gonna pull them out, and I'm gonna do something with the green tomatoes.
What you gonna do with them?
I'm not sure.
So tell them what you're gonna do.
Maybe I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them yet.
Why do you get all shy in front of the camera?
I wasn't. I was laughing.
Green tomato salsa.
Well, I don't
Get me
know.
all excited, get my mouth ready for some salsa, and then
I don't know.
oh, I don't know what we're gonna do with it.
Because I don't know if that's a thing or if I just made it up.
Why does she torture you? Why does she do this?
Yeah, come up with a delicious idea and then not even sure if it's real or not.
Salsa gets on camera and say, "Sight."
Or I'm gonna bake bread today and it's ready 3 days later because you start fermenting it today.
Yeah, that's what we don't know. Why is she literally tearing the hair out of my head?
The reason.
Or she was gonna make chocolate chip cookies the other day, just made the dough and then put it in the fridge. Didn't even bake them, which is fine.
What's up
the
with
dough
that?
is better.
Anyway, so we got potatoes mixed up in here with these tomatoes. So we got a rap song just made out of this. Potatoes and tomatoes. Potatoes and tomatoes.
It ain't the cops killing us.
Pretty prolific
Yeah, they
tomato.
are. They're not even.
From the food to the media, it's cancerous shit. And your idols, LeBron and Kobe.
All right, look here. This is some clover we just yanked up out of here. See those little white things right there in the ends? Those are your nitrogen fixing nodules. When they come in contact, this is just a microcosm of what happens down there with our trees when we plant a nitrogen fixer next to it. So your tree links up with that, with these roots, and guess what? Bam, it's off to the races. So they have plant available nitrogen they can use. So what else we got in here, honey?
We have some volunteer holy basil that came up. We've got this plant and this plant. And we're gonna try to keep this. This plant is an adaptogen, so you can pick the leaves, chop it all up, put it in a tincture, and just take a few drops of it every day.
Well, you made a few gallons of this last time, didn't you?
I did some vinegar. I did tincture, like a vinegar tincture. I also did an alcohol tincture, which I don't really, I don't really use. But with the vinegar tincture, I give it to the sheep.
Now, what's it good for?
It's an adaptogen.
You cannot fool me with the eye. You get 'em every single time. I try to shut up and dry. I know I can't.
Little Mickey Mouse potato.
Well, we don't support Disney.
All the things you thought I was.
All right, y'all. So this isn't the best harvest in the world, and so the moral to the story is don't buy that bag junk.
But it's more, these purple varieties, they're not the most productive anyway. So just
Not here.
Well, they're just not anywhere. They're never going to be as productive as like your Kennebecs or something like that. But they're just a novelty type thing.
All right. So what kind of these here?
Those are superior. Which
All right.
this bed, something happened when we initially planted those potatoes. I don't know what happened, but only certain potatoes came up. So it was a bad start to begin with.
Well, the moral to this story is we're going to start using our own stuff, and we're going to be singing a different tune later on and applying some other methods. And then over here, we have tomatoes that are allegedly going to be made in a fried green tomato salsa or fried green
That's not a
tomatoes.
thing. Fried green tomato salsa is not a thing.
Or green tomato salsa, whatever it is. I mean, as long you said that's what we were going to
No,
have.
I said green. I said like green tomato salsa, but then I don't know if that's a thing.
And you got some jalapenos in here. That's what I love the smell of really awesome. I love peppers anyway. So here's exactly what it's going to go down. Okay, so we're going to put something else in here, obviously, to take its place. And it's probably going to be something that's a nitrogen fixer, like beans or
right,
something.
some sort of peas, beans,
Yeah.
just to add some nitrogen, and then we'll put some fall stuff in here.
Well, hopefully, y'all, you got some good stuff out of here. We still got tomatoes out here doing their thing. And this is our first time working in a high tunnel, especially anywhere near this size. We've always had them little janky, put them together in a couple of hours kind of things. And there's nothing wrong with those if that's what you got. But we've never worked on this level. And we've gotten a lot of great guidance from Deep South Homestead on how to do this, the do's and don'ts. So we're going to try to do more of the do's and less of the don'ts in the future. So this is what we got here. We're up to our eyeballs in a lot of different harvests right now, and that's exactly what you want in the permaculture system. Ain't that right, honey?
Yep.
Can I get an amen? All right, I get a smile will do. All right, y'all. So remember, we have that at the end of the week. Remember, we are going to be there. We're going to show you how to build swales in Camden, Tennessee. Find that link down below. We also have coffee. We got all kinds of wonderful things down below. If you need bone sauce, we got that at the website. We're getting kind of low. And also the comfrey, we got some of that too. And we're getting kind of low on all this stuff. So be there, be square, get whatever you need. First come, first to be served. All right, y'all. Till next time, this is the Homestead Honey. That's her. And this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm, where permaculture is my passion, isn't it, honey?
Yep.
Amen? Guess not. We'll see you next time.